गुड इवनिंग फ्रेंड्स। आप सबों का बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन। इस वीडियो में हम लोग बात करेंगे बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण प्रश्नों की बेहतरीन श्रृंखला। आपके साथ इकोनॉमिक्स सेक्शंस मज़ेदार तरीके से सॉल्व किए जाएंगे। मैंने इस चैनल में देखते रहिए, सीखते रहिए, आगे बढ़ते रहिए, क्योंकि कहा गया है टफ टाइम्स डोंट लास्ट, टफ पीपुल डू। टफ टाइम्स डोंट लास्ट, टफ पीपुल डू। तो इसी के साथ शुरू करते हैं आज का बेहतरीन क्यू सेक्शन। ऑल द बेस्ट। तो आपके स्क्रीन पर पहला सवाल पूछा जा रहा है, कंसिडर दी फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स। अटल पेंशन योजना ऑफर्स कवरेज फॉर डेथ ड्यू टू any reason and is available to the people in the age group 18 to 50 years. The age of the joining the Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana is 18 to 40 years. Atal Pension Yojana provides for a fixed pension ranging from 1,000 rupees to 5,000 rupees per month at the age of the 60 years, depending on their contribution. Which are the correct? I think it's a very tough question, but you confuse if you don't know about that. What is the Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, Atal Pension Yojana? What are the conditions for the Atal Pension Yojana? Which are the criteria? Everything. I think it's only and only second option or third option. Only third option is right. प्रधानमंत्री जीवन ज्योति बीमा योजना PMJJBY. प्रधानमंत्री जीवन ज्योति बीमा योजना is available to people in the age group of 18 to 15 years. 18 to 15 years having a bank account who give their consent to join enable auto debit. It is available to the people in the age group 18 to 15 and having a bank account. People who join the scheme before completing 50 years can have, however, they continue to have the risk of the life cover up to the age of 55 years, subject to the payment of the premium. It is administered through the LIC and other Indian private life insurance company. The person can join Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana with one insurance company with one bank account only. Eligible person can join the scheme without giving self-certification of a good health. Atal Pension Yojana. Atal Pension Yojana is a pension scheme mainly aimed at unorganized sector such as maids, gardeners, delivery boys, etc. The scheme is replaced the previous Swavalamban Yojana, which was not accepted well by the people. The goal of the Atal Pension Yojana is to ensure that no Indian citizen has to worry about their illness, accidents, or disease in old age, giving a sense of security. Private sector employees or employees working with such an organization does not provide them pension benefit can also apply for the scheme. To avail the benefits from Atal Pension Yojana, you must fulfill the following condition. You must be a citizen of India, must be aged between 18 to 40, should make a contribution for the minimum of 20 years, must have a bank account linked with your Aadhaar, must have a valid mobile number. There is an option of getting a fixed pension of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 on attending the age of group 60. The pension will be determined based on the individual's age and the contribution amount. With reference to the PM Employment Generation Program, PM's Employment Generation Program, consider the following statements. The scheme aims to promote generation of employment opportunities through establishment of micro enterprises in specifically in rural areas. It is sub-scheme of Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. Only and only D, both are incorrect. You know about that PM's Employment Generation Program. PM Employment Generation Program aims to promote generation of employment opportunity through establishment of micro enterprises in rural area as well as urban areas. Benefit under the scheme, the maximum cost of the project per unit admissible is manufacturing sector is 25 lakhs and the business or service sector is 10 lakh. Rate of subsidy under the Pradhan Mantri Employment Guarantee Program projects cost for general category 15% for urban, 25% rural. Special including SC, ST, OBC, minority, women, ex-servicemen, physically handicapped, near, hill and border areas, 25% urban, 35% rural. The balance amount of the total project cost will be provided by the banks in the form of the term loan and working capital. The scheme is implemented by Khadi and Village Industries Commission (KVIC), functioning as the nodal agency at the national level. At the state level, the scheme is implemented through the state KVIC directorate, the State Khadi and Village Industry Board (KVICs), district industry centers (DICs), and banks. In such cases, KVIC routes government subsidy through designated banks for the eventual disbursal to the beneficiaries' entrepreneurship directly into their bank accounts. Eligibility: any individual above 18 years of age, at least seven, so at least eight standard pass project cost, projecting cost above 10 lakh in the manufacture sector and above 5 lakh in the business or service sector. Only new projects are considered for the sanction under the PMEGP. Self-help groups, including those belonging to the BPL, provided that they have not availed benefit under any other scheme. Institution registered under the Society Registration Act 8060, Production Cooperative Society, and Charitable Trust are also eligible. Pencil portal of the Government of India is aimed towards eliminating child labor. Pencil is an electronic platform that aims at involving center, state, district, government, civil society, and general public in the achieving the target of the child labor free society. The portal creates a robust implementing and monitoring mechanism for enforcement of the legislative provisions of the National Child Labor Policy (NCLP). Since the subject of the labor is in concurrent list, the enforcement of the policy depends on the respective state government. This online portal in Pencil portal aims to connect the center to the state government, district, and to all the project societies for effective implementation of NCLP. The Pencil portal has the following component: child tracking system, complaint corner, state government, National Child Labor Project, and convergence. Which of the following is are the scheme या initiative of the Ministry of Education? Kusum, Leap, Arpit. Leap and Arpit. You know about that? Only and only two and three. Kusum is something Ministry of Renewable. PM Kusum, Pradhan Mantri, Kisan, ऊर्जा ऊर्जा सुरक्षा उत्थान महाअभियान is the scheme of the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy for farmers for installation of the solar pumps and grid connected solar and other renewable power plants in country. This scheme aims to add solar and other renewable capacity. By 2022, the total central financial support something The service charges of the implementing agency. LEAP, Leadership for Academician Program. Leadership for Academician Program is a flagship leadership development training program. The objective is mainly to train academic heads who are likely to assume the leadership roles in the future. Its focus group is second level academics, functionaries in the public funded higher education institution. It would include both domestic and foreign training in managerial skills such as problem solving, handling stress, team building work, conflict management, developing communication skills, etc. The implementation will be through top ranked universities and top 100 global ranked foreign universities. ARPIT initiative. ARPIT, Annual Refresher Program in Teaching. Annual Refresher Program in Teaching, ARPIT, is a unique initiative of online professional development of 15 lakh higher educational faculty using SWAYAM portal. National Resources Center NRC will be identified to prepare online training material. SWAYAM, study waves for active learning for young aspiring minds, is a massive open online course platform launched to offer various online courses for school education and higher education. With the references to the sovereign gold bond scheme, consider the following statement. Sovereign gold bonds are the government securities denominated in the grams of gold. The sovereign gold bonds are sold through scheduled commercial banks, payment banks, or small finance bank. Its objective is to reduce the demand for the physical gold and shift a part of the domestic saving into the financial savings. Of course, 2 is absolutely incorrect, so 1 and 3 will be the answer. Sovereign gold bond scheme was launched by the government in November 2015 under the gold monetization scheme. Sovereign gold bonds are issued by the RBI on the behalf of the government. They are the government securities denominated in the grams of gold. They are substitute for holding physical gold. The bonds are sold through banks except small finance banks and payment banks. The bonds are sold through the banks, but not including finance bank, small finance bank or payment banks are not included. Okay. Stock holding. The bonds are sold through the banks, stock holding Corporation of India Limited, SHCIL, designated post office, recognized stock exchanges, National Stock Exchange of India Limited and BSE. Sovereign gold bonds are the government securities denominated in the grams of gold. They are substitutes for holding the physical gold. Investors have to pay the issue price in case, and the bonds will be redeemed in the case on maturity. The bond is issued by the RBI on the behalf of the government of India. Next question, consider the following statement regarding Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana. Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana. Deen Dayal Upadhyay DDU Gramin Kaushal Yojana is a flagship scheme of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. It aims to diversify the income of the rural families. It focused on rural youth between the age of 15 to 35 years. Only and only 2 will be the answer. 2 and 3 will be the answer. You know about that Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana is a scheme of Ministry of Rural Development. It is tasked with the dual objectives of adding diversity to the incomes of the rural poor families and caters to the career aspiration of the rural youth. DDD, DDUGKY is a uniquely focused on rural youth between the age of 15 and 35 years from the poor families. As a part of the Skill India campaign, it plays an instrumental role in the supporting the social and economic programs of the government of India like Make in India, Digital India, Smart India, Smart Cities, Startup India, Stand Up India campaign. Over 18 crore of 69% of the country's youth. What? 69% of the country's youth population between the age of 80 to 34 years live in its rural areas. Out of these, the bottom of the pyramid youth from poor families with no or marginal employment number about just 5.5 crore. With reference to the interest rate growth differential, differential IRGD, consider the following statement. It is the differences between the interest paid on the government debt and economics nominal growth rate. India has a positive IRGD. Yeah, you know about that. We are in good position. No, we are not in good position. Interest rate growth rate differential. Interest rate growth rate differential. One side interest rate, this is growth rate. What is the difference between them? It is the difference between the interest rate and the growth rate in an economy. With the Indian context, the potential of the high growth, the interest rate on the debt paid by the Indian government has been less than the India's growth rate by norm, not by the exception. According to the Economic Survey 2021, the phenomenon of negative IRGD in India, unlike advanced economics, is not due to the lower interest rates but much higher growth rates, promoting a debate on saliency of the fiscal policy, specifically during the growth slowdown and economic crisis. With the reference to the counter-cycle fiscal policy, consider the following statement. Under this policy, major total government spending as a percentage of GDP goes down and tax rate goes up during the recession. This policy measure increases the government deficit during the period of boom. Government deficit during the boom, it's not only and only D is the right answer because government's fiscal policy has big role in stabilizing the economics during the business cycle. Two important phases of the business cycle are boom and recession. Practically, fiscal policy responses using taxation and expenditure can go in the two ways in response to the business cycle, counter cycle and pro cycle. A counter cycle fiscal policy refers to the strategy by the government to counter boom or recession through the fiscal measure. It works against the ongoing boom. It works against the ongoing boom or recession trend, thus trying to stabilize the economic. Understandably, counter-cycle fiscal policy works in two different directions during these two phases. Counter-cycle fiscal policy during recession. Recession is a business cycle situation where there is a slowing demand following growth in the economic. Hence, the government's responsibility is to generate demand by fine-tuning taxation and expenditure policy. Reducing taxes, increasing expenditure will help to create the demand and producing of wise upswing in the economy. Counter-cycle fiscal policy during the boom. In the case of boom, economic activities will be on upswing. Amplifying the boom is disastrous, as it may create inflation and debt crisis, and the government's responsibility here to bring down the pace of the economic activities. This could be increasing taxes or reducing public expenditure will make boom mild. Thus, slowing down demand should be the nature of the counter-cycle fiscal policy during the boom. With the reference to the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, consider the following statement. Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. It is one of the components of the Ayushman Bharat scheme. Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana provides a cover of 5 lakh per family per year for a primary health care. It covers up to the 3 days of pre-hospitalization and 15 days post-hospitalization expenses. Only and only 1 and 3 will be the answer. Ayushman Bharat, a flagship scheme of the Government of India, was launched as recommended by the National Health Policy 2017 to achieve the vision of the universal health coverage. This initiative has been designated a design to meet sustainable development goals and its underlying commitment, which is to leave no one behind. Ayushman Bharat adopts a continuum of care approach comprising of the two interrelated components, which are Health and Wellness Center (HWCs) and Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana (PMJ). Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana is the world's largest health insurance scheme fully financed by the government. It provides a cover of 5 lakh per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization across the public and private independent hospital in India. Over 10.74 crore poor and vulnerable entitled families, approximately 50 crore beneficiaries, are eligible for these benefits. Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana provides cashless access to health care services for the beneficiary at the point of the service. That is the hospital. Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana envisions to help to mitigate catastrophic expenditure on medical treatment, which pushes nearly 6 crore Indians into the poverty each year. It covers up to 3 days of pre hospitalization and 15 days post hospitalization expenses, such as a diagnostic and medicine. There is no restriction on family size, age, or gender. All pre existing conditions are covered from day one. Benefit of this scheme are portable across the country such that a beneficiary can visit any independent public or private hospital in India to avail cashless treatment. Service include approximately 1,393 procedure covering all the costs related to treatment including but not limited to drugs, supplies, diagnostic services, physician's fee, but not limited to drugs, supplies, diagnostic services, physician fee, room charges, surgeon charges, OT or ICU charges, etc. Public hospitals are reimbursed for the healthcare services at the par with the private hospital. Public hospitals are reimbursed for the healthcare services at par with the private hospital. Following causal impact of PMJ on the health outcomes were observed according to the Economic Survey 2021. Enhance health insurance coverage. Across the whole state, proportion of the household with the health insurance increased by 54% of the state that implemented Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana while falling by 10% in states that did not. Decline in the infant mortality rate IMR declined by 12% for the state that did not adopt PMJY and by 20% for the state that adopted it. Decline in the under 5 mortality rate. Which of the following components are taken into account while calculating bare necessities index BNI? Source of drinking water, housing, child mortality, drainage system. Bare necessities index. 1, 2, 4. Bare necessity index summarizes 26 indicators of 5 dimension: water, sanitation, housing, microenvironment, and other facilities. The index classifies our areas on the three levels of the axis: high, medium, low to bare necessities. Water. It has been measured using the indicator like the principal sources of drinking water, distances to the source of drinking water, method of drinking, taking water, and the nature of the access. Sanitation. It has been measured through the indicator like the access of the household to latrine and type of latrine used by the household, pipe sewer system, septic tank, to twin leak, leach pit, single pit. Housing. It has been measured through indicators like condition of structure, types of dwelling, independent flat or others, and paucha or kucha house, pakka or kacha house. Microenvironment. It measured through indicators like the drainage system of the household, whether the household faced the problems of flies, mosquitoes during the last 1 year, if any effort was made by the local bodies or state government to tackle the mosquitoes. Other facilities. The other facilities include kitchen type with the water tap or no separate kitchen, ventilation of the dwelling unit, type of bathroom used by the household, whether the household has electricity for domestic use and electric wiring, type of fuel used by the household for cooking. Key finding related to the bare necessities according to the Economic Survey 2021. Access to bare necessities has improved across all states in country in 2018 as compared to 2012. It is the highest in the states such as Kerala, Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat, while the lowest in Odisha, Jharkhand, West Bengal, and Tripura. Interstate disparities decline across the rural and urban areas. Improved access to the bare necessities has led to improvements in the health indicators such as IMR and also correlates with the future improvements in education indicators. Consider the following statement. Country's public debt is considered sustainable if the government is able to meet all its current and future payment obligations without exceptional financial assistance. Debt sustainability of a country leads to its higher growth rate. Which are the correct? Only and only A. A country's public debt is considered sustainable only if the government is able to meet all its current and future payment obligations without exceptional financial assistance or going into default. Economic Survey 2021 examined the optimal stances, a stance of fiscal policy in India during the crisis, and comes to a conclusion that it is growth that leads to the debt sustainability, not necessarily vice versa. With the evidence from across several countries, the survey shows that the growth causes debt to become sustainable in the countries with the higher growth rates, and that such clarity about the causal direction is not witnessed in countries with lower growth rates. The V-shaped economic recovery is characterized by slow return of business investment, increase in the consumer demand, persistent unemployment. Only and only two will be the answer. V-shaped recovery is one of the countless shapes recession and recovery chart could take, including L shape, W shape, U shape. J-shaped. Each type of recovery represents a gentle shape of the chart of the economic metrics and goes the health of the economic. Economics develops these charts by examining the relevant measures of the economic health such as employment rates, gross domestic product, industrial production indexes. In the V-shaped recovery, after the economic suffers a sharp decline, after economic suffers a sharp economic decline, it quickly and strongly recovers. Such recoveries are generally supported by a significant shift in economic activities caused by a rapid readjustment by consumer demand and being business investment spending. Because of the rapid adjustment of the economic and the quick recovery in the major aggregate metrics of macroeconomic performance, V-shaped recovery can be thought as a kind of best case scenario once an economic has it as recession. Ricardian Ricardian equivalences proposition. A proposition suggests Ricardian using active government policy to manage aggregate demand in order to address the prevent of economic recession. Ricardian popular growth. Population growth is potentially exponential while the growth of the food supply of the other sources is linear, which is eventually reduces the living standard of the point after again the population die off. तो Malthus theory है. Financing government spending of the out of the current taxes or current deficit will have the equivalent effects of the overall economic. Individuals who have unrestricted access to resources are likely to act within their own self interest and through the collective action may deplete the resources is entirely. Financing government spending out of the current taxes. Current will have equivalent effects of the overall economic. Ricardian Ricardian equivalence is an economic theory that says that the financing government spending out of current taxes or future taxes will have equivalent effects on the overall economy. This means that attempt to stimulate an economic by increasing debt financed government spending will not be effective because investors and consumers understand that the debt will eventually have to be paid for in the form of future taxes. The theory argues that people will save based on their expectation of increased future taxes to be levied in order to pay off the debt, and this will offset the increase in the aggregate demand from the increased government spending. The theory was developed by David Ricardo in the early 19th century and later was elaborated by the Harvard professor Robert Barrow. For this reason, Ricardian equivalence is also known as Barrow-Ricardo equivalence for the proposition. With the the headline inflation considered the following. Headline inflation is measure of the total inflation within an economic excluding commodities such as food, fuel, prices of which tend to much more volatile. Headline inflation is more relevant for developing economics than developed economics. पहला स्टेटमेंट तो रॉन्ग है सेकंड स्टेटमेंट इज राइट हेडलाइन इन्फ्लेशन refers to the change in the value of all goods in the basket. It is different from core inflation, which exclude food and fuel items from the headline inflation. Since the price of the fuel and the food items tend to fluctuate and create noise in the inflation computation, core inflation is less volatile than the headline inflation. In a developed country economic, food and fuel account for 10 to 15% of the household consumption basket. But in developing economies, it consists 30 to 40% of the basket. Thus, the headline inflation is more relevant for the developing economics than the developed economics. With the reference to the Economic Survey 2021, consider the following statement. Economic growth has a greater impact on poverty alleviation than inequality. Sovereign credit rating changes for India changes for India have weak correlation with macro indicators. Yes, both the statements correct. As per Economic Survey 2021, the relationship between inequality and socio-economic outcomes vis-a-vis economic growth